Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com. Today I have an art journal process video for you. We're going to be doing a little acrylic paint, a little collage, just a simple art journal video. I am in my new craft space. I'm still trying to figure out filming and lighting and sound and all of that. So thanks for bearing with me. I have a new camera set up that is on its way here that I'm hoping will help make things a little easier. So if the camera shakes a little bit or the sound or lighting feels a little bit off, thanks for understanding, and hopefully that will continue to improve as I get used to this new filming space. So I will link everything that I end up using down below. Otherwise, I'm going to put you all on fast forward. Let's go. All right, can I be totally honest with you guys and let you know that I'm struggling a little bit to create content this week because of my craft studio moving. It's a lot. It's a lot to do. I'm trying to get it all how I want it. You can see I keep bumping the camera. I'm bumping my table, and my camera is currently attached to my table, which it was not in my old craft studio. So that's why I keep having a shaking camera. I'm trying to figure out how I can best work around that and how I can fix it. And my brain is like trying to fix all of the logistical issues. And so I'm having trouble settling down and just feeling creative because my brain is just going over all the things that need to be done. Let me know in the comments if you know what I mean. When my brain is in logical mode, like left-hand side or left side of the brain where I'm trying to solve all the problems, it's really hard to let go. And when that is the case and I'm still wanting to get creative, I have to super simplify it. I'm starting with just fun colors and shapes. I'll be honest, my original intention was to paint both of these pages solid with that blue color, but as I started putting it on page, something kind of spoke to me about this organic, almost pool shape that I have going on, and I decided to run with that. So I'm trying to be really, you might say, gentle with myself. I'm trying to allow myself room for creativity. I do have to create content. It's part of my job. But when my brain is going a million miles an hour with other life things that are going on, it can be hard to let go. And so I'm just kind of allowing myself to see what is coming of this page. I am using pieces from a magazine developed by Tamara Arcilla. I'm afraid I might be saying that wrong, but she is on the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray team. She is amazing. I love her art. I'm obsessed with it every month. And she created her own magazine called Torn, and it's all based on gorgeous images on paper and on using these images in your creative journaling and your Bible journaling and your art journaling. And so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm starting with just creating my own background. This is another blue color that I'm layering on top of the pool blue. And I'm just having fun creating a pattern. And we're just kind of going with it, just seeing what comes. I know it doesn't seem like a lot of color contrast on the camera right now, but you can tell the difference. And I wanted it to be a little bit more of a subtle pattern in the background. When I was at this point in creating, I thought this might possibly be the ugliest thing I'd ever seen. It kind of looked like chicken pox almost. I know it's not red, but like the dots just were a little funky. So when that happens to you in art journaling, there's definitely gonna be times where you're like, this is the ugliest thing I've ever made. And what I always say is just don't stop till you're happy. That might mean you have to take a break and come back and look at it with fresh eyes. That might mean that you have to continually add layers, which is what I'm going to do right now. So we're going to change the size of the dots, come in with a different color. We're adding just a little bit more interest to that pattern. I'm liking it more now with the varied sizes of dots. And of course, something that is almost always like a fix-all for me, let's add splatter. So I pulled out some white acrylic paint and watered it down ever so slightly to add a little splatter. The acrylic paint that I'm using is the Dilutions brand acrylic paint. I love it. I love it. Oh, it's not Dilutions. It's Dina Wakley. Sorry, Dina Wakley acrylic paint. I love it. It's my favorite. I have a few bottles of it. I certainly want to collect all of the colors. It is the paint that I'm going to go with now that Handmade Modern isn't at Target anymore. So I'm loving, loving, loving this paint, and I decided to come in with the splatter of white, and then we're going to go in with a darker splatter as well. It's getting a little messy. It is getting in the black just a little bit, but I'm just going to go back over that. I like the messiness. I like the pattern versus the messiness. I just think it's an interesting look in the background, and I am going to layer things over the top. So once again, this is just going to be the background. I'm trying to clean up the areas that are black right there. This is almost going to end up being like a thought bubble in a way. That's kind of what it ends up being. I don't know. It kind of just, it comes. It is what it is, you might say. So I'm going to put that to the side, let it dry, and pull out a couple of pages from the Torn magazine. This magazine is available digitally as well as you can order a paper copy. I definitely wanted the paper copy just because I like these pieces in my hand without having to print them out. There's some gorgeous photography, and then you can see that Tamara layers it with her artwork, which is so beautiful. And so right now I'm just cutting out all of her florals, and I love this photograph. This girl is going to be kind of the center point of what I create. So how often do you use other people's artwork in your own artwork? I used to think of it as this huge cop-out that you weren't actually art journaling unless you were doing all of the drawing yourself. But in truth, I think it's a wonderful way to celebrate someone else's art, to use it as inspiration, to stretch yourself creatively by using someone else's art. And that's what they created it for, especially this particular piece. Like, they want it to inspire you, and so take those pieces, certainly give them credit because they are amazing in their ability to create, but use it in your artwork. I have been loving collage lately because I've been loving using these inspiration pieces as a jumping off point. All right, so I let that, put it to the side to dry. You hit it with my heat tool a little bit. So now I'm going to start layering pieces. Like I said, she's going to be kind of the center point of this entry, and I'll place her over my little pool here. I'm just using Tombow adhesive to get her down, and I kind of like that her pants are black and that they kind of go straight into that black paint. I find that super interesting. And then we're just going to layer these florals kind of around the page. I wish I had more. And so once I get these down, I decide I really do need more. And because I love Tamara, I have many of her printables from Illustrated Faith. So I picked up a few of those and cut them out to add on as well. Like I said before, I'm just using Tombow adhesive to get these on the page. You could certainly use something like Collage Medium. You could use Mod Podge. It tends to be a little bit sticky, so I don't really like using Mod Podge very much because I don't want the pages to stick together. But you could use something like that to seal it down even more. But I think the Tombow is going to work well for what I have planned on this page. So I'll get all of those in place, and then I'm going to go grab some more florals from a different printable, cut those out. They're kind of in similar colors, a similar color palette, you might say, and so I will be adding those around. And really it's this girl kind of hanging out in this field of flowers. There's this thought bubble behind her. I feel like it's like an insight into her head almost. Like, that's kind of what I'm feeling. In the magazine, there were also these affirmation cards that were designed by Candace Stewart, who is a great artist that I follow over on Instagram. And this one was great. It says, "I will treat myself as God would treat me. I will allow grace to flow freely through my veins," which I love. And that's kind of what I'm trying to give myself a little grace this week. There's a lot going on with moving craft studios and kids and schedules and all of the things that all of us have going on in life. And I certainly, it's not a burden to get a new craft studio. It's a humongous blessing, but it is taking up brain space. And so you always have to give yourself grace. When you have brain space that is being taken up by who knows what, give yourself a little grace in the creative department for sure. All right, so once I get those florals down on the page, then I'm just gonna grab a paint pen and add a title. And my title is really simple. It's just gonna say "Be You." I really wanted the quote to stand out. I think this girl is a great example of just someone that looks very comfortable with themselves. And so I thought BU really stuck out in my head. I'll add some fun little doodle arrows, and then that's going to be it for this art journal entry. Like I said, really simple because that's kind of where my brain was at. Again, you can just do simple things to inspire your creativity. Don't feel like you have to create something spectacular every time. Feel like you can create whatever is in your head. Give yourself space to let it come out of your head. And I think you'll be pleased with the overall result. I was in the end. Midway through this, I was like, this is a disaster. I'm never going to be able to use this video. And by the end, I'm pretty pleased with how it came out. And I'm proud of myself for sticking to it and creating something that was interesting and fun. All right, I want to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. I hope that you all have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.